Hello all, and welcome to a very, very special episode. This has been in the works for, probably weeks, maybe months now, and it's some of your favorite people. We're all back together again. So this is the Movie Archer Podcast Network fam. It's been, I think, a couple of months since we've all been 5 of us together in a room since the announcement episode, but you've seen pockets and pairings of us on the feeds a ton of times at this point. But we're all here because it is our Super Bowl for movie lovers. It is Oscar season, and we're diving in to share some of our deepest desires and what our hearts long to see win. This is not a predictions episode. This is in our world, what would we write the stories of people that are going home with some awards? So we're joined by Andrew, Adam, Nikko, Sarah, and I. So do y'all want to just quickly go around and introduce yourselves, which shows you come from, where some of your content is, all that goodness? Who wants to go first?
Gotta have the editor-in-chief lead us off, right? The captain?
Oh, Captain. Hi, everybody.
My
Adam
captain.
Free. Movie Archer Podcast Network, moviearcher.com. On the forefront of all things film and television in 2026 and hopefully beyond. Could not be happier to be with this group of people again. As you were saying that you've seen us in pieces and pockets, you know, it's kind of like the spin-off Marvel movies. And then every now and again, we can get the Avengers back together. And it's always so nice to share a couple Zoom screens with all of you lovely people.
We got the Infinity Gauntlet all in force today right here.
Yes.
I'm Andrew from the Revisionist Almanac, and just so delighted to be in a room with the 4 of you again.
Man, I'm so lucky to be here. Heck of an intro by Jen too. That got me more fired up than I already was. Nikko Caruso. I do YouTube. I do TikTok. Do stuff with Adam over at Archer Vision. I'm in the Chicago Indie Critics with him as well. And this is our Super Bowl. This is our Olympics. This is our World Cup. And I'm very excited, especially because we're talking from the heart today. Not the predictions, not what everyone else is doing. It's what we would do. And it's going to be fun to learn what everyone wants to do.
There's plenty of pods out there for predictions, but we're here with our hearts bearing our souls on what we want, what we get excited about. Sarah, intro?
Yeah, I am Sarah. I'm the other half of Movies and Us and TV and Us, and this is going to be an absolute blast. We haven't talked about this. We don't know what other people are going to pick, so this should be a lot of fun. And maybe some chaos. We'll see what happens.
I feel like we all had such very us picks when we did our kind of draft for 2025 films, our Mount Rushmore that we built out during the announcement episode a couple months ago. So we're about to really see what the spread is looking like today, what the chili queso dips of today. If you don't know that reference, go watch that episode. But I think we're going to have quite the spread here today, given all of our personalities and our movie-going preferences, which I think will be fun to share with each other. So let's start off. Before we get into the categories that we're going to be covering today and how that's all going to work, let's just quick round table thoughts on this year's Oscars and the picks that the Academy is looking to recognize and include in what it looks to celebrate. Kind of thoughts on this year's Oscars season so far. Well, let's go the reverse direction, shall we? Yeah. Sarah, do you want to share first?
Oh, man. Okay. Yes. So just some quick thoughts. I think the Oscars made a lot of really great choices. I love how celebrated Sinners is. I love Amy Madigan getting the nod for Weapons, how much sentimental value has been nominated on all of these categories. So I think there's a lot of really great picks this year, a lot of really solid wins. And then there are some glaring snubs. I'm not going to steal some people's thunder. So the snub that I would like to highlight is that No Other Choice got 0 nominations. And that is absolutely bonkers to me. I don't understand how that happened, because at least in some of the technical categories, editing, cinematography, things like that, this absolutely deserved a nomination. So that is one notable snub that I would like to bring to the table.
All right,
You
Nico.
know, I think it's a really cool year. I want to echo a lot of what Sarah said. I prefer this year to last year and perhaps the year before as well. I agree there's a lot of things that I love, especially a lot of films that made my personal top 10 of the year were well represented at the Oscars this year. A couple glaring snubs and a couple glaring nominations, I'll say. So like there's just what's so frustrating about this year. That it's a good year, but what's frustrating about this year is they're like 3 or 4 moves away from this being like an all-timer for me. But my biggest snub I'll actually get to in a category. I'm gonna leave it because mine are categorical. I'm not gonna say it yet.
It stays in the Chamber of Secrets.
It stays in the Chamber of Secrets, but a couple things they had the chance to do like 10 really cool things and they did like 7 of them, and those 3 for me feel like they were right there. But I will say a big improvement from last year. In fact, I was talking to a friend the other day and I was trying to name the 10 best picture nominees and a bunch of the actors from last year in the categories, and I struggled very hard, but I was able to do it for the year before and the year before that very easily. So thank God for this year. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, just kind of like echo what Nico said. I think they got more right than they got wrong, which is a refreshing position. Spending so much of my time in Oscars of the past, it's nice to see that they're much more in tune with, I think, what collectively we all agree are the good movies. I am very eager this year to see how the best casting Oscar plays out, which is a new category. And I think it'll be interesting to see if that effectively is a precursor on the night of whatever wins that, potentially wins director or picture. We'll see if that becomes like a on the night precursor going forward. So I'm excited to see what happens in casting. I think the biggest snub for me, we all have invested in this year more than past years because we've all been fortunate enough to sort of get to talk to some of the people who are Oscar nominated and see some of these films. And so I feel like we have more attachment to some of these movies. I've been fortunate to see a couple of the best animated short films and talk to some of the directors, but there is a best animated short film that did not make the Oscars 5. It was on the short list. It's called Snow Bear.
I knew you were going to say that. Yes.
Yes. It's on YouTube for free. Everyone go search Snow Bear and watch it. I think it's one of the best animated films of the year, short or feature length. It's just an incredible piece of animation. It's nostalgic, kind of a Disney throwback to the 90s. And I won't say what I think should be taken out because I think all 5 animated shorts are really strong, but I just wish Snow Bear would have got in. But
if I can jump on Snow Bear for a second, Andrew, that was the one that I saw back at Tribeca, and it has a wonderful hand-drawn styling about it, but a wonderful environmental message as well. And that's something that I think is really hard to weave in when you're only getting 12 to 13 minutes to tell your full story. And it does it without a lot of dialogue. There is not much conversation that's going on. So I totally agree. When that one wasn't nominated, that was my first real surprise.
Same. Yep.
Adam, any other overall thoughts for this year's Oscars or?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a hot take. I think this is the best collection of films we've had this decade, top to bottom. And even if you just look at the 10 that were nominated, I mean, I could say 8 of these 10 films are outstanding in my vision. I think 4 of them could be all-timers and another 4 are very good. And that in another year, maybe they would be, near the top, but it just so happens that this year we got 4 movies that I think could win. In a lot of other years, they just happen to fall against each other. So I'm excited about this year in ways that I haven't been in years past, just about what we got to see. And usually it's like every couple of months I see something and I'm like, wow, I'm really excited about that. And I felt like this year is about once a month. Something was hitting that was really sparking my ambition to really fall in love again with cinema. And so in terms of snubs, I know we mentioned Snow Bear, Andrew. There was a snub in my estimation in the documentary category. I could never take any of the 5 out because I really like them. I think it's a shame that the film Natchez by Susanna Herbert didn't make it in doc. It's incredibly touching. It's an incredible look at the city of Natchez, Mississippi today through the prism of its historical significance with regard to the slave trade, with regard to the antebellum South, and with regard to how the people who live in that town weigh the past and move forward together. And it's an incredibly diverse town. And it's a documentary that involves a diversity of opinion as well, which I think it's easy to tell one side of a story. And I think what Herbert does with this film is really show a variety of perspectives in this one small town in Mississippi. So I was bummed that Natchez didn't make it, and I think it should have.
Love it. I think it sounds like we're overall like gleaning quite like hyped for this year's Oscar season. I too was just kind of reflecting on, gosh, I think I haven't been this excited in the past couple of years about a set of films as I have since probably 2021, which was a Nomadland, Sound of Metal year. That was a banger year. And the last couple have been like, especially if we look at Best Picture, because I think it's representative of generally a lot of categories, what is getting a lot more attention. But there's just usually like 2 or 3 that I'm really excited about. There's like 4 or 5. I'm like, okay, solid. And then there's always a couple where you're like, oh, okay. This is, of course, they probably ran an incredible campaign, some incredible like resourcing behind it. And that's why it's there. This set of films, I think, lean so heavily strong and so consistently strong. And so I think that the spread and the bell curve of my feelings about the film are much more consistently like, yes, absolutely. Love that this is here and that more people are going to get to experience and hopefully draw more attention and eyeballs towards these. The other thing that I think a lot about with films and was especially excited about with this year is how the race has centered around a set of a couple of films that truly people in my life that are maybe not movie lovers and movie fans have seen, have gone to the theaters for, are hearing about. And so just the straddling of the movie world and like the rest of the populace really experiencing films. I feel like it's so much closer this year. So you got One Battle of Another, Sinners, that are films that are in the zeitgeist. And I think in past years, Nomadland might be a great example. It's a little bit harder. This chasm is a little bit greater. So that's been exciting to me because I can talk with friends more and they can ask me questions about what I think about the Oscars and they've actually seen the movies. You know, that's really nice to see the people show up for things that the movie world is also really celebrating too. So,
and even films that I didn't necessarily love per se, like F1 and Frankenstein, these were movies that were platformed by major streaming services. And so a lot of people were able to see these movies at home who aren't like us and don't kind of live, you know, underneath the flickering light of the movie theater. And so even if they feel invited to engage in the Oscar conversation or the broadcast, because they've seen a couple of these at home or they took a swing at Train Dreams on Netflix. Like, that's amazing. I'm happy that there seems to be something here for everyone. It's just that not everything here, I think, was for me, but that's probably the case for all of us. And that means we had a healthy and diverse movie here.
Mm-hmm. It's a very accessible year. I love that you both are talking about that. And I think I would argue a majority, like you're saying, are accessible. And you have some huge, you know, like large in scale, sprawling films. You have some quiet, intimate ones. And so I'm hoping that you're right, Jen, great point. A lot of people in my life have seen like multiple of these movies. Like people have seen like 4 or 5. So hopefully this list of 10 maybe got people to check out like The Secret Agent, you know, Sentimental Value, and some of the more like quiet, more intimate films. And maybe it expands their taste a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's our excitement, our goal too, is to share movies within ourselves, but also just with everyone in our life. And the Oscars is something we talk about a lot. The Oscars is such a place where it drives attention, eyeballs towards certain things, and even shows like Revisionist Almanac, who is going past Oscar years. The whole premise is, gosh, what was written out of history and what are we going to write back in? And so it is such a influential agent in the world of this art medium for what people choose to spend their time watching. So we are going to share. Yes.
If you will.
Yes. So we are going to share some of our passions of things that maybe weren't represented. And we get to perhaps Revisionist Almanac IRL together for this Oscar year before the ceremony even happens, share some of our thoughts about what we want to pick. So, Sarah, do you want to quickly explain kind of our format of how we'll structure the categories that we're going to cover?
Yes, so today we are going to cover 8 categories in total. We are going to go around. We are all prepared with a whiteboard or notepad. And what we're going to do is we are all going to write down our pick of who we want to win in this category. Again, not a prediction. It's who we personally want to win. And then we're going to do a countdown and I'll reveal at the same time. And then we will discuss and we'll go through all of the 8 categories, ending, of course, with Best Picture. So that's what we're going to do.
Let's do it.
All right. Everyone ready with their items, their writing utensils of power and existence for what's going to get.
It's fun. This is like as close to a game show as I'll ever be invited to.
Yeah.
I'm really living my best life right now.
Whoever gets the closest to the actual picks gets $500,000.
Brought to you by moviearcher.com.
Yeah. Monopoly money in cash.
Some movie Archer bucks going.
You said doll hairs. Yeah.
Yes, doll hairs. All right, so the first category that we're going to be covering is adapted screenplay. I'm going to read what was nominated by the Academy, and then we are going to scribble away our picks. So, best adapted screenplay, for the sake of ease, I'm going to just rattle off the movies, their titles: Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. So, everyone write down your picks.
Now, are we just going to hold these up, or are we saying them all at the same time to create as much audio confusion as possible?
So funny.
Make people's brains explode.
Let's do that. I like that. Maximum chaos. All right, I'll count us down. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hamnet.
One Battle After Another.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I'm the lone one battling.
So
that means you're going first, AC. Take it away.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
well
4
done.
Hamnets,
Well done.
one battle after another. Andrew, good luck to you. You're surrounded by a pack of 4 wolves.
I had a feeling after the Hamnet episode that might have gone that way. The reason that I think One Battle After Another is so successful, it took PTA decades to make this film. Thomas Pynchon novels are notoriously almost impossible to adapt to screen. PTA has done it once before with Inherent Vice. Some people debate how well that is pulled off. I think what he does is he takes the bones of the book that Thomas Pynchon wrote and fuses it with contemporary stuff that makes this movie feel so of the moment, and yet it also still captures the essence of the source material. And so I think when you're talking about an adaptation, he takes something and he makes it entirely his own, and yet it still has all the roots of the original novel. And I just think it's a feat that nobody else could have pulled off. And it took him decades of his career to even finally get the courage to do it. And I think he succeeds wonderfully.
And I think you're right. You want an adaptation to be an artist paying homage to another artist. And I think it's really hard to argue with what you just said about the Pynchon novel. And then, of course, what PTA did with it. And I think in most years, I would agree with you. So, point well made. Unfortunately, you're going to get outvoted here within this category.
Yeah, in this in the movie Archer democracy, 4 is a much larger number than 1. But this is such a strong piece of writing. The pacing, I think, the emotional investment that we feel in the characters throughout the film is quite incredible. That's established so early on, that continues to build and change and evolve over time for how those characters are written.
As fluid as its presentation feels, One Battle After Another is an incredibly complex story to tell for the screen. And that has to come from the page. And so a lot of credit needs to be given. I'm not trying to talk myself out of my own.
It's like I'm swaying you a little bit. Yeah.
No. I mean, it was my clear second. It was definitely my clear second. So a great pick by you. And I got to say, Andrew, I did expect you to pick that. I'm reading your mind today, including with Snow Bear.
One thing I want to add is in terms of the adapted screenplay category, it's in the name, right? Also, he adapted it to feel very, very timely and very, very relevant to what's going on right now. In fact, scarily timely, because the movie was conceived, written, he's been working on it forever. And when it came out, it felt like, how did he not think of this last week? So
yeah,
almost, Andrew, you got me. I'm getting close because I almost picked this, but no, I had to go Hamnet.
Yeah, what was it, Nikko, about Hamnet that made this a no-brainer for you?
Just the emotion. Like, we have a whole show where we talked about it and how much I've cried both times I watched it, but just the themes it's exploring. I said when I saw the film, the words spoke to me and it helped heal something I was very terrified of, which is death, which is loss. And I think the way that Chloe Zhao and company took the time to really flesh out the relationship at the beginning, the relationship with the children. I actually just saw the show on the stage a week ago, and it's a lot more compartmentalized, a lot more sped up, and you don't get as much time as you do with these characters. And I think the movie really takes its time establishing this dynamic and the way these characters communicate. And then when they hit you with the emotional sledgehammer, that third act, what she's trying to say, she rips your heart out, but she puts it back together, which is amazing.
And it finds its way of sewing the theater goers together, even though they may not know each other and they might have walked into the theater separately. It's a communal experience. And I haven't felt that many times in the theater, and I've been to a heck of a lot of theaters. It was special, and it's something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And I'm so thankful that she made this movie. And I'm so thankful for the way that we were able to bond over talking about this movie. Truly one of my favorite moments ever podcasting. So yeah, Hamnet, my pick here.
Yeah, that episode together is near and dear to my heart. I think it's the power of connection and bond and sharing our hearts together in a way that's vulnerable, but is what we all desire and crave. And Hamnet was able to create that moment, that experience with us as kind of the root source, but we kind of ran with it too. Sarah, I am curious about Hamnet being your pick for this because
yes,
some interesting feelings.
Wait a minute, I'm like so surprised in the best way though.
This is my
made me go
no. This is my most surprising category. I think all of my other picks are pretty like standard. This is a Sarah pick. This is my Zag take because honestly, I don't have like a deep love for any of the films in the adapted screenplay category, and so I really like Chloe Zhao. It's the only category that it's both women who wrote it, so I'm doing this for the girls. That's why I picked Hamnet. I'm not giving Chloe Zhao anything else in our list today, so I wanted to give her this one. So that is my superficial reason why I picked Hamnet.
Okay, because you raised your thing, and I was like, "Am I reading correctly? Like, did I all miss that in?"
You did.
But
you misspelled begonia.
Okay. Next category we're going to cover is original screenplay. I'm going to read off the films that are nominated in this category. It is Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. All right.
What a lineup.
It's a banger. I know, right?
Yeah, this is like the 27 Yankees. This is Murderer's Row here.
Okay. Holler when you're... We good? Everyone ready?
We ready.
All right. 3, 2, read off your title for maximum audio chaos. 3, 2, 1.
Sinners.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we've got a spread today, folks.
Is it different all around?
This is a charcuterie board of movies.
AC and I tied, it looks like.
Double Sinners,
Yes.
double It Was Just an Accident.
Okay, so Andrew, you were
I'm Sinners.
Sinners, Adam Sinners, Nikko's Sentimental Value, Sarah was It Was Just an Accident, and I was also It Was Just an Accident. All right.
Jen, why don't you start with it? It Was Just an Accident.
Yeah,
That's
please.
a great pick.
Okay.
Because I was close on this one too, so I love this.
Yes. I think this film, first of all, tackles an incredibly emotional and seemingly impossible topic around people that have experienced torture and are having to deal with the trauma of that. Now, it does it in an incredibly restrained way without releasing the melodrama that can easily come with a topic like this, and it holds it all for the last 20 minutes of the film without spoiling the film at all, because you really need to experience it for the first time. I think that the way that it's able to build and build and build to that final 20 minutes sequence that will rip your heart out is just incredible writing. I also think that the collection of characters that are part of the group that kind of goes on this journey together is really meaningful, especially in the way that their views and their reactions offer this spectrum, this kaleidoscope of ways that people deal with hard things and how they process it, and the emotions that come, the ways they try and soothe and heal, sometimes in healthy ways, sometimes unhealthy ways. It's just a really powerful like kaleidoscope view. So the design of that group dynamic, I think, is also really well done and kind of reflects the human experience. So that's my spiel for It Was Just an Accident. I think the structure is just really fascinating, interesting, and how it builds that tension and the emotion to release it fully at the end. And it kind of is this huge exclamation point that you're left with. Sarah, you also picked It Was Just an Accident. You adore this film.
I did. I really do. And so I'm just going to say times 2 to everything that you said. The only other thing that I'll add in is actually stealing from Andrew, who on our episode reviewing it talked about how when you get to the end of the film, it's really just the beginning of it. And that is what It Was Just an Accident does so well. It will leave you with so much to mull on, so much to think on. And the more times you watch it, the more there is to discover. I will say the original screenplay category was the hardest for me because it's like a 4-way tie of who I wanted to win. But I wanted to give It Was Just an Accident some flowers.
And one thing I wanted to add to that, one, your sentence, Andrew, is in conversation for like one of the coolest sentences ever. Is that what's so great about the It Was Just an Accident screenplay is it's all in the dialogue that story unfolds. I mean, it's really the interactions between the characters. It slowly unfolds into something stirring. And it's like, there's moments of comedy. There's moments like it's very simple in its presentation. But when you listen to what those characters are saying, where it gets to the end of that film, it's so stirring. So stirring. Excellent screenplay.
Far greater than the sum of its parts.
Sinners, folks. Thoughts on your pick, and then we're going to leave Nikko on the island alone to faithfully.
He's going to be on Nikko Island. Andrew, you want me to run on this first?
Good island.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the category is called original screenplay, and I think I was about halfway through my first screening of Sinners, and I looked over at a couple of the people that were in that theater, and I said, "I've never seen anything like this." I mean, it was one of the most originally formulated stories and executions I've ever experienced. And it just washed over me. And it was one of the rare films that I walked out of the theater and I couldn't wait to walk back in. It's the perfect alchemy of culture, music, legacy, evolution. And it stirred me to the point that I said, if this is what we're getting, I can only imagine how much of that had to go into this screenplay. And so, a few people have said this is a great category. And I think you could have picked any one of these 5 nominees and had the right answer. But for me, there's been nothing like the story presentation of Sinners. And that's got to come from the page.
Yeah. To build on Adam really quickly, I think that there's an authenticity to Ryan Coogler that we have seen so much over the last 6-8 months in all the press and everything he's done. He's a singular voice in Hollywood right now. And he brings all of his cultural experiences and everything to this film, and he takes a genre piece, a vampire film, and creates something that's never been done inside that medium. It's so special, and then that centerpiece musical scene is just a transformative piece of cinema, and I don't think anyone else could have crafted this film the way he did, and that's why he gets my win.
Well said.
I think you could have went the right way with 4 of the films. I think one that no one's mentioned yet, Blue Moon, I would have not put in this category. No disrespect to Blue Moon. I'll quickly say this. Here's where my greatest snub comes in. It should be Sorry Baby. It's the best screenplay of the year. It's maybe the best screenplay of the decade. And the fact that Blue Moon is there and not this makes me hate Blue Moon more, even though I don't actually hate Blue Moon. So I picked Sentimental Value because it was my next best option. I love Sentimental Value because for the my number one reason is this is the one script in the category where I feel like all 4 central characters are so fully realized by the end of the movie. And like on rewatch, it is crazy. It's such a subtle journey that all 4 of them go on, but like the level of self-awareness and the place they get to. And the other thing I love about the screenplay too is there are so many characters in this movie who could have easily been so corny and so cheesy. I'm thinking of Elle Fanning. I'm thinking of the way like Renata Reinsva's character is at the beginning, the way they're like trying to look at her depression. I think they could have fallen into some like really negative tropes of a character like that. And then the ending of the movie, some would say it's predictable and some might say on paper it feels cheesy, but it is perfect for this story, a story about a family who speaks in languages that each other don't understand. And at the end of the day, its film was the one that was going to hopefully bring them all together. And Stellan Skarsgård is the most complex character of the year because he feels like a villain. He feels like a bad guy, but he's just someone who's experienced so much trauma and does not know how to exist with people. And I love this screenplay so much.
You really see the nuance of the screenplay the second time you get to it and the third time you get to it. It unlocks the more you go back to it, I found.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a great pick. Nikko, I love what you said around how the 4 characters are all fully realized and essential. That's really hard to do. And the complexity and the nuances that they have really do collide with each other and kind of braid together in a really beautiful way. So great pick. All right. This is quite the spread for this category, guys. I think it's actually representative of how great the category itself is, that each one resonated so deeply with us. Okay. That was quite the charcuterie board. We'll see the next category, supporting actor. I'll read off the nominees. So it's Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi in Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo in Sinners, Sean Penn in One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård, Sentimental Value. All right. Write down your picks.
Jen is writing in her finest calligraphy.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Make sure you say your pick. 3, 2, 1.
Sean Penn.
Oh my gosh.
We got 3
okay.
Sean Penns in
Wow.
here. Okay,
Another
no, Stellan Skarsgård.
All right.
I gotta be honest, I'm surprised that 3 of us picked Sean Penn.
I am
Me
too.
too.
I think just on the sentimental scale, because he's won 2 times previous.
Yep.
I kind of thought there would be an underdog pull. And I'll be honest, there was a big part of my heart that looked at Delroy Lindo. But because I am a sucker for a great villain, and one of my greatest childhood memories is seeing Hannibal Lecter on screen for the first time. And I've talked about that on other pods. This is as close to a lifetime achievement in villainy that I've ever seen, down to the walk, the clothing, the tight t-shirt. Nikko, you touched on just how topical the character feels right now. He is very much of the moment, even though I know the story was created so long ago. I think decades from now, we're still going to be talking about Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw. And what a name and what a performance. So Sean Penn is my guy.
All right, Sean Penn from Adam. The heart wants what it wants, it goes for what it picks. Andrew, also, you picked Sean Penn. I did as well.
Yes,
Andrew?
I was a little surprised that a lot of the early critics were favoring Benicio of the 2 supporting actor performances, and I thought Sean Penn's character was significantly more integral to that story, and there was just more depth to his character because he's incredibly villainous, and yet there's also times where I feel for him because he's such a, I don't know, there's a certain level of empathy I feel for his character at times, which is conflicting, but it's there very much for me. And yes, I do think that the fact that he has 2 Oscar wins might not work in his favor in real life, but I think this is an iconic performance that has not gotten enough praise, and the BAFTAs maybe changed that over the last few days because I think he's got some momentum going his way, and I'm happy to see it.
For this category in general, one of the biggest snubs that I wanted to call out is Paul Mescal for Hamnet. I'm like, That's my guy. And he does an incredibly emotionally difficult, nuanced performance in that film. So I would swap maybe Jacob Elordi out for Paul Mescal. But +1 to Andrew and Adam. I think Sean Penn is like the opposing force for everything else that is working so well in One Battle After Another. So I think just the film doesn't work without him selling everything that he does for that role as well as he does. Sarah, you went with
Delroy Lindo. I did it.
Okay. Thank you for representing that, because I think our hearts wanted to pick him.
I'm here for you guys is really what it is. But it's just a fantastic performance. I'm so impressed. I'm always impressed by Delroy Lindo. He always delivers, but I love the depth of his character in Sinners. And you see such a wide range of emotion from him and carrying so much of the story forward. And I feel like he's just such an integral part of that film. So I wanted to give him the nod and the shout out.
I love this pick. I love him as an actor so much, and I have for like 2 decades. I just didn't have the courage to pick him over Sean Penn, so I appreciate your courage.
The scene in the car, he has, I know everyone talks about the I lied to you scene, but the scene in the car where he's telling the story and like the sound design comes in, and he's very memorable in the movie, and I'm so glad this nomination came through, and I'm pretty baffled that it didn't happen more throughout the season. I really am. And I want to give you all credit for Sean Penn, but I want to give Adam Fried special credit here because, Andrew, you said a lot of critics groups weren't going for him, and even though I didn't vote for him, the Chicago Indie Critics did pick Sean Penn to be their winner, and we were one of the only critics groups who did that. So if he ultimately ends up winning the Oscar, it looks like we were in tune with the universe here. But I won't.
Mine might have been the deciding vote. We don't know. We'll never know.
You were in the Academy, actually. I heard. So I went with Stellan Skarsgård. I won't add too much more than because I already kind of talked about him in the screenplay, but the character had so much weight. Everything he did felt huge. And I'm going to make a wild comparison, but it makes sense to me. He feels like a quiet version of Logan Roy from Succession, where like anytime he showed up in that show, you felt different. Anytime Stellan is doing or saying anything, I felt like the weight of the world. I was like on the edge of my seat. And so his presence is so large in that movie. He also might be lead, so I'm supporting category fraud. But we did it last year with 2 actors in supporting, so whatever. Shout out to Stellan Skarsgård, Daddy Stellan Skarsgård. The daddy of the Skarsgårds. Come on. Hey, it's a talented family. It comes from the top. It comes from Daddy Skarsgård.
Wait until you start the Carusos. This is going to rival this.
Oh, man.
I'm going to make sure that they're all thespians because I'm not. But I'm going to make sure they are.
Oh, that was so wonderful and heartfelt. And then we ended on the cherry on top. I didn't know I needed, but well done, Nikko.
There you go.
Nikko always. Okay. Best Supporting Actress. Elle Fanning, Sentimental Value. Inga Ibsdottir, Lilias, Sentimental Value. Amy Madigan, Weapons. Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners. And Teyana Taylor, One Battle After Another. All right. Let's write down our picks.
Am I making the right pick is the question.
There is only one pick to choose.
Well, because it's coming from your heart, Adam, it is the right pick.
Nikko, this is why I love you so much. You're always here to reassure me.
I love you so much. Of course, dude. Anytime.
Stick together.
Anytime. We have to. We have to. If we don't, no one else will.
Us flyover states.
You matter.
Airport, Airport.
Sponsored by the Midwest. Get yours today.
Brought to you by the Great Lakes. Do you want something that looks like an ocean but has no salt? Welcome to the Great Lakes.
We've got a muddy river called the Mississippi.
Have you heard of Mark Twain? He wrote about it.
And we have great accents.
What are you talking about? Who has an accent, my friend?
Two tree accents.
Couple two tree.
All right, ready?
I don't know. Are we?
3, 2, I don't know. Do you want Zach last minute swaps? Anybody?
No, we're
Going
right.
once,
We
going twice. All
ready.
right, 3, 2, 1.
Inga
Teyana
Igsdottir.
Taylor.
Yes.
Amy
Oh
Madigan.
my
Let's go, Jen.
gosh. Yes. Wow.
Are we all different?
Wow,
We're all over the place.
We're all different except for myself and Nico.
We are on the
Wow.
same page.
Wow.
Great minds.
All right.
We mind melded. Okay. Who wants to go first?
I think Jen has to.
I think we gotta go.
She saved the category.
Sarah.
Or no, Sarah saved the category. Sarah.
Sarah. Yeah,
Sarah.
Sarah.
The category. Sarah, please.
Sarah's our steward.
Yeah.
So I picked Woomy because, man, she is just phenomenal in Sinners, and she's great in everything. But in this, she shows such tenderness, but there's also so much strength and joy. There's this fierceness to her, and to me, like, she is kind of one of the central pillars of this film. And I think that Sinners doesn't work as well if Woomy isn't in it. And so the way that she just really holds her ground and delivers such a tremendous performance, I was so happy that she won at the BAFTAs. And so it's a great performance. And so I wanted to celebrate her. Though Nico and Jen, your pick was my number 2. And it was really hard between these two, but I ultimately went with Woomy.
She might win the Oscar. That BAFTA correlation is strong. We'll see if SAG being last matters. She might win the Oscar, which would be really cool. Would be pretty cool.
Great pick,
Jen and
Sarah.
Nico,
She
you
really
guys are on the same wavelength. Talk to us here.
I'll let Jen take it.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm just so thrilled to see this nomination for this character. Honestly, both her and Elle Fanning just deliver an incredible performance. And this is a film that really shines because the performances are so nuanced and so heartfelt. She is kind of a quieter character in the film. And I think that's why I'm so excited that she's nominated, because she could easily be overlooked. But she actually, if you really watch the film, is essential to helping everyone around her grow, evolve, identify those parts in herself. She's a safe place to land for everyone. And so while it is a quieter performance, it is not big and flashy. I think she does so much emotional expression while doing it in a very subtle, nuanced way, which is often my favorite kind of performance. And so I'm just so pleased that the Academy did not overlook her, and that she's being celebrated for the really quiet performance that she gave that actually is essential to the film. So Nico.
Legendary, Jen, because you said something I love. We need to normalize rewarding the subtle, quiet performances. They get overlooked too much. I'm glad she didn't. Elle Fanning too. Shout out to Elle Fanning on rewatch. That performance is actually brilliant. But Inga is my pick because I think she's the MVP of the movie. I think she's the soul of the movie. And like you said, Jen, like a true definition of a supporting character who makes everybody better. And she's really the linchpin that draws Renata and Stella together at the end. Stellan, not Stella. Shout out to Stella. Draws the people
Stellan
together
got his groove back
at the end. He did. And she is a character who made me cry. She also feels like such a real person in the movie. Like, maybe it's because she's the actor I didn't recognize, but there's something so real about her. And every time the camera cuts to her, she's doing something with her emotions. And that last scene with her and Renata is unbelievable. You know, why didn't I end up screwed up like you? Well, because I had you. Such one of the scenes of the year. So shout out to Inga. I'm glad she's nominated. And if it were up to me and Jen, she would be winning. And maybe in a different world, she would have. I thought that BAFTA win was going to happen. Yeah. Well, I thought that BAFTA win was going to happen. But it's okay. Woomy's a great pick too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you guys just celebrated subtlety, and then here come Andrew and I. Andrew, take it away. I love your pick.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to go right after subtle pick. Amy Madigan is doing the opposite of subtlety in Weapons, except for when she's at a dinner table talking to the child. That is a much more stripped down, quiet scene, and she shows the range of Aunt Gladys in the performance there. I just love, I got to represent for the horror community because I'm one of the horror sickos out there. I love seeing a horror nomination anytime it gets represented. And also, for too long, Amy Madigan has effectively been Ed Harris's wife in Hollywood. And like, she just hasn't been as celebrated and as respected as she deserves. And this movie firmly put her back on the map, and I think she's going to get a lot of offers coming her way going forward, and I'm excited to see that because Amy Madigan is a wonderful actress, and she has a real second renaissance coming post Weapon. So I'm excited for it. Even if she's not going to win, this is a great opportunity for her to just kind of keep her name out there.
Very cool nomination by the Academy. I'm glad they did it. Yeah. I'm glad they did it.
And Andrew, I'm glad that you picked her. I'm also glad that you are a steward for the horror community. Shout out to Dave Hughes. Your Q1 horror episode was outstanding, and I cannot wait to see what fun surprises you guys may cook up in Q2. Not a subtle pick, but I went with Teyana Taylor, and I think that what she did in One Battle After Another was one of the best demonstrations of a ferocious brand of femininity that I've ever witnessed. I love that she really drove the early action in the film, and then the story allowed her the final and culminating thought in that letter that she left for her daughter. And I think that although she didn't play through the whole film, I think the impact that she had on it set it on its trajectory. And without her being as convincing as she was in the first 40 minutes, I don't think we get the one battle that we got. And so I picked Teyana Taylor for that reason.
She sets the tone well. And you want more of her, and that's the biggest compliment you could give the performance and the character.
Yeah, in supporting, you want more of it, right? Yep. You don't get the whole thing, you get a piece. And I think that's all we got. And man, was it outstanding.
Adam and I got to cover 2016 on my show last year, and this performance reminds me a lot of Mahershala Ali in Moonlight, where it's such a critical first act performance.
Critical.
Yeah, both in she almost leaves this void behind for both the daughter and Leo's character that they are figuring out that you can feel the presence of her almost far longer after she's been on screen.
It was interesting because you felt her presence so profoundly, and then you felt her absence equally. And so great point by you. It's one of those performances that I think I'm going to grow to appreciate more the more times I see the film.
Great pick. I think this category actually is probably our biggest spread so far, as far as combinations and films that we're covering. I think we hit 4 out of 5. So fascinating.
I'm waiting for a category where we all choose one of each. So we're 1 out of 5 each. So it's close. we're the closest on this one.
Closest so far. Closest. Yes.
Is it more likely we all have separate picks, or we all come to a consensus on one? I wonder.
What happens if we all Yahtzee and we all pick the same thing?
I was thinking about the likelihood of that, and I feel like it's lower. It's probably low because someone's got
one coming up.
I think there's one category that could be close.
Yeah, I think we're going to go at least 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what the closest we get to either a full Yahtzee or a full spread. Okay. Now we will do the still fast round categories. So this is for Best Actor. I'm going to rattle off the nominees. Timothy Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Wagamora for The Secret Agent. I'm actually really curious. Everyone's picks for this one. All right.
I just got nervous about this one.
I know.
I'm very curious about this one.
I vacillated so much.
I feel like the people I grew up and that taught me to love movies, I'm betraying them.
Wait, that's good news. I think that's good news.
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Timmy.
That's why it's good news.
Dream big, baby.
Good news. Sarah, we were so close, Sarah.
Oh,
Sarah,
we almost
that was my second pick.
I'm so sorry, guys.
No.
Timmy was not going to be my pick. So
little Timmy,
so sorry.
please, our moment
little
for
Timmy
Nikko's.
Marty Supreme Christmas Day. Schwep. When I think Marty Supreme, I think Chalamet, I think Schwep.
Yeah. Okay.
Sarah,
I am glad.
Once again, are proving yourself courageous.
I love it, though.
And I know Nikko just took a little side swipe at Blue Moon not too long ago. it's a film that I loved.
Yeah.
And I
Hawke
loved
is
the
great.
script, and I couldn't get over Ethan Hawke. So, Sarah, talk to us here.
Thank you for
He's
representing.
good. I liked him.
Thank you, Nico.
Just didn't love
That
him.
makes me feel better. Yeah, for me, honestly, it was hard for me to pick between Ethan Hawke and Michael B. Jordan. But
Fair.
I went with Ethan Hawke because it's the one time I was going to be able to talk about Blue Moon tonight. And he is so fantastic in the film. He is the central character. And if that performance isn't 100%, the movie doesn't work. And I mean, most of it is just Ethan Hawke delivering monologue after monologue, and each one is so engrossing. And Nico, I loved the screenplay. It was tied for my favorite of the four. But I think Ethan Hawke just delivers in scene after scene after scene. And it's electric, it's magnetic. You can feel his charisma coming off of the screen. And he's so larger than life, but he's not a caricature. And so it is a very like big A acting role. And I ate it up. I absolutely loved it. So he gets my pick.
And it's interesting that he is, as you said, larger than life, but he's so physically diminutive within the role that the way that he presents himself and the way that he captures the character is unbelievable. So I really like that pick. And that's one of those in any other year picks for me.
I was just going to say, in another year, I
Yeah.
think he's your winner. And he's also a wonderful human being too. And he's always good. He's always good.
Great storyteller. And one of the great defenders of cinema. We need the Ethan Hawkes in our lives.
Yep.
All right, who's talking Timmy first?
I've been outvoted. So who of the
I'm so
Tim
glad you did
crew
it.
needs to defend Timmy? Because
TC
the performance is fantastic. So
I don't know, Adam. Maybe you should explain why you've betrayed your people.
Was it because of the lead up to the movie? Because like that's so fair. I think that's fair.
I got to be honest with you. I don't want to say lukewarm. I was enjoying Marty Supreme. And it was the final scene that solidified the greatness of the performance. You know, spoiler alert, the movie's been out a long time. It's the moment that a selfish young man sets selfishness aside when he looks in the eyes of his child. And I think anyone, especially who's a father, who has had to realize my whole life has just changed and there's a whole bunch of me that needs to change with it. And the good ones can and do. And for all of the, oh my God, what are you doing that Marty Mauser gives us throughout that film? It was the first time I saw a whole bunch of myself in a guy who was living in the 1950s. And it touched me in a very deep and a very personal way. And you can't just do that by saying you're going to do it as an actor. And so I think what he created was special.
So good. It's so true. Andrew, Nico,
I mean,
pick.
What more can you say? It's his time. It's like last year. I thought he should have won it last year. Apologies to Adrian Brody. This is a better performance than last year's performance, and I just want him to win it and not end up in the Leo Revenant boat where he's ending up winning late in his career for something that probably isn't his best performance. So just give the man his crown when he deserves it. That's where I'm at with it.
He's earned it.
Jen, Timmy.
Yeah, I think he it's time. It's also the right movie. I think he's able to shine in the ways that he does. He truly like there's a point in the film where you forget that he's Timmy and he really becomes Marty Mauser. I think also the charisma that he has that is making him the movie star, the male movie star of our generation, is essential to this film as well. And that's something that only he could bring to the screen. He is the most frustrating character ever. And yet you just can't help but root for him. And I part of his like ambition around this is also a mixed bag for me, which made me maybe not want to pick him, but he's put in the work and he's proven that he can do it. And he is so essential to this film working as well as it does. To have that tension inside of like, I don't know, but I just gotta root for this guy, and only Timmy could sell that to us. So Nico?
And
Yeah,
not to be like overly emotional about this, but he
Yeah.
also represents what might be the last real movie star
Yes.
under 40. And although I don't hope that's the case, because we've got some other people, but he might be the last person who is a name bringing people to the theaters. We may need him right now more than we think.
I was very close to. I love Wagner Moura in The Secret Agent. They went back and forth as my favorite male performance of the year, but I keep coming back to Timmy because he's my skinny king. I got to report for duty when he needs me. And right now he needs me on the front line. Here I am. But you know, why I picked him is not just because I'm a big fan of him and I love the performance. He did something so incredible this year. He's also the same age as me. So I feel like we like the same stuff. He had kind of like the lead up to a film that like I would like to do, getting like hip hop involved, like all this stuff. But he created a character that is huge. And the character is larger than the movie. This whole press tour, starting with that SAG speech, he was this character. The performance was happening in real life too. And he wants it. He's hungry. He cares. I love someone who just wants it and will go to the ends of the earth for it. And he became larger than the film. There's that, like, he is the movie. No offense to that. Forget Josh Safdie. Forget everything else of the movie. He is everything. I think he's bigger than the Oscars too. So like, yes, he's the last big movie star. I love it. He has a retrospective for his career at 30 years old. Let's just give it to him. I think he deserves it. He's larger than life, and let's reward the greatness right now. Because I don't know if we're getting it again, which is scary, especially with recent news today. But that's a different story.
I love Adam when he said, I think we might need him more than he wants this.
I think we need him.
True. It's so true.
I'm not trying to be overly dramatic, but the way things are going, I grew up, there were 7 of him. There's one.
He's one of one for this generation.
We're on some cracking ice right now. All right, but I don't want to be a downer here because we have some really nice categories coming up.
We do.
We might have another one where we coalesce together, but who knows?
This is the one.
Okay, Best Actress. I'm going to read off the nominees. Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Renate Reinseve for Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone for Goya. All right, writing down our pick. This might be it. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Is it Jessie Buckley, everybody?
Buckley!
Amanda Seyfried. Oh, wait, Rose Byrne.
You know what, Sarah?
Buckley.
That's so cool.
Wow, I love this. I love this. Ooh. I had a feeling about Sarah.
I'm actually a little surprised.
Andrew. Yeah, but I'm intrigued by Andrew's pick as well. All right. So maybe you two share your thoughts.
Sarah, who did you have? I missed it.
Renata.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I went with the subtlety, guys.
Yes.
I'm here
Okay,
for the subtlety in this
for that.
category. I love the movie Sentimental Value. It's so wonderful for all of the reasons that we've already talked about. But her performance, especially on rewatch, there's so much that she's doing. There's that one conversation that she has where she's sitting in the theater with Elle Fanning, and Elle Fanning is describing all of these things, and she doesn't say anything. It's just these little micro changes in her expression, and you can feel everything that character is feeling. And that's just one scene in an entire movie of moments like that, where she is just emoting things in such a beautiful and powerful way. I was blown away by her the first time I watched Sentimental Value, and then all over again, just amazed. So I want her to win. Let's give an award to subtlety. So this is my subtle pick.
Reinsva, in my opinion, Sarah, she's a top 5 actress working right now. She is so good in everything. If Jessie didn't rip my soul out and make me cry, it would have been Reinsva for me too. Awesome pick, Sarah.
And you're so right. This category is not known for rewarding those subtle female performances. It's often, bigger, flashier. So I love this pick. Andrew, you also had a fun pick.
So I had a little joke that who I think should win is Amanda Seyfried, who's not even nominated. This is the only category I'm actively angry at. Kate Hudson should not be in the 5. Let's just be serious here, people.
That's tough.
If you've seen The Testament of Anne Lee, Amanda Seyfried, I think, gives the single best acting performance of any category of the entire calendar year 2025. She's phenomenal in that film. But seriously, of the 5, Rose Byrne, I just think, gives a performance I was not expecting. I expect Jessie Buckley to bring her A+ game every single time. I think she's the best actress of the 5 in the category. But I think what Rose Byrne does is so different than I've ever seen Rose Byrne do anything. And I was transfixed by her performance that entire time. She carries If I Had Legs. So she gets my win just because it's such a different role than I've ever seen her. Buckley's just always shooting, she's always throwing 100 miles an hour every time. Yeah. So, I have no problem with her winning, but I like the change of pace from Byrne. She threw a curveball here.
Hold on. Emma Stone just called. She just reminded me she has 2 Oscars. So as you're throwing out best actress in the category, now I don't think Begonia was the best she's been, but she might still be wearing the tiara that we've overlooked here. I got to be honest with you. I really liked the performance by Rose Byrne, and I agree with you that Kate Hudson is probably the odd woman out within this category. But I think it's Chase Infinity who was overlooked. And I think that if I were to remove Kate Hudson rightfully, I would put Chase Infinity in that spot. So love your pick. I don't know. Maybe I'm too housemaid coded.
If Chase Infinity went supporting, I think she gets in.
I know. I agree.
Unfortunately.
It's what it is. Hey, Jessie Buckley did something to me personally watching that movie. She broke me not once, not twice, but thrice. It made me feel what she felt, and to make it even harder, she made me feel it in a time period that I've never come close to living in. And unlike Emerald Fennell, she was able to sell a period piece film, which was absolutely amazing. Love a good period piece when it's period specific. And Jessie did everything you can ask a lead actress to do. This was not a movie about Shakespeare. It was a movie about Agnes. I am now on Buckley Island. Can't wait to see The Bride this coming Tuesday. It's funny that she'll be playing the Bride of Frankenstein in theaters the same night that she takes her Oscar and says, "Look at me." Hollywood is amazing.
So good. Nikko, Jessie also ripped your heart out and put it right next to Adam's. Somewhere outside of both everybody's. Thoughts about Jessie?
As much as I wanted to pick Reinsva, there's something about Jessie emotionally. We have a whole show talking about it. I can't echo anything greater than what Adam said. I do want to say, I'm going to throw in a snub here too. We've heard of Chase Infinity. We've heard in Amanda Seyfried. Where's Tessa Thompson for Hedda? I watched that movie later in the season, and Nina Hoss too, by the way. Those are like delicious performances. Tessa Thompson is mesmerizing in that, and I just wish, so I want to take this moment. We know that Jessie's great. I wish Tessa Thompson was here somewhere. I don't know why that movie was in campaign. I think it should be costumes, production, score. I mean, Nia DaCosta, great talent, but Tessa, justice for Tessa. I think she could have been here in a different year. Classic case of the different years.
No, thank you for bringing that up, because Hedda is a movie that really stood out to me in her performance. And for whatever reason, it didn't even enter my mind in this conversation until you just said that. So thanks for doing that.
Happy to do it.
That's why you're here.
Yeah. Plus one too. everything that Nikko and Adam shared about Jessie. I think she's just such a fascinating actress. She is very intentional around choosing her roles too, looking at the films that she's aligned herself to. She's been doing just incredible work, and there's a depth to her when she brings a performance to the screen that I think is mesmerizing. And it's also time, I think, for her to take it home, and this is a banger to be able to do it for. Truly changing lives out here in the streets. So yeah, ready for her to take it home. All right. Next category is Best Director.
Here we
Things
go.
are about to get interesting.
This is a tough one.
I'm going to read off the films nominated for Best Director. Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners.
I know. The nerves are going now.
The nerves are really going.
I'm fascinated to see how everyone has made their choices with this category and the next category as well. So this will be juicy. All right. You ready? Adam's writing a manifesto out there.
Oh man, no, I had it pre-written so I wouldn't change my mind. Honestly, I know myself, and if I were writing it on the spot, I'd be like, no, and I'd cross it out. So I locked it in a little while ago. I believe in what I'm doing here.
Okay, the heart. As Nikko says, the heart is right. The heart is the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Joachim Trier.
Josh.
Hey.
Oh,
Wow.
We have a spread, y'all.
Oh my God. Only Sarah and I got it right?
This is a fun one. This is a fun one.
Yeah.
This is a really fun one.
There's actually a far greater spread in this category than I would have expected.
This is surprising to me.
This is interesting. All right. Let's spend some time. Let's dive in, shall we? So, Adam and Sarah, you both, Ryan Coogler.
Sarah, take it away.
Yeah, I think that Sinners is such a triumph. Those of you who picked Sinners in the original screenplay category, I feel like that conversation can be copied and pasted here for director. But I just think, and this is something that Ryan Coogler has done so well over the course of his career, is he is able to take a genre that is established and he is able to do something new and interesting within it. And just the incredible technical components for Sinners, just at every level, this film is just exceptionally executed, and it's a ton of fun to watch. So I want to give Ryan Coogler his flowers.
I'm with you. 100% with you. Originality, excellence across the entire gamut of the elements of composition, from sound to lighting to editing to manipulation of the camera. In every way you could convey excellence in storytelling, Ryan Coogler did it here. And I'm going to get historical here just for a second. This is going to be the 98th Oscars. And in 98 years, I'm going to read you a list. Spike Lee, Lee Daniels, John Singleton, Jordan Peele, Steve McQueen, Barry Jenkins, and now Ryan Coogler. In 98 years, only 7 Black men and 0 Black women have ever been nominated. And because this is a show about what we want to happen, my God, has enough been enough? How excellent did the other 6 names have to be? How special, how life-changing, how genre-defining, how Hollywood-driven did we need Jordan Peele and John Singleton and my favorite director, Spike Lee? What more could those men have done? And so now we've come to a time in year 98 where we see a man do it, as I would argue, better than anyone did it this year and maybe this decade. It's time. It's time. It's not time for him because he happens to be a Black man. It's time for him because he is the very best that I have seen. And he deserves this award. And there's great directors on here. And I know that Paul Thomas Anderson, it's his time, and he should have won it years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we can't let this continue. So this is the one real passion project that I have. Ryan Coogler deserves this award. I don't know if he's going to win it, but because we're playing from the heart here, he wins it for me.
That was epic. I'll tell you this, though. I echo everything you said. And even if he doesn't win it, I'll tell you what the coolest flex is. He's got the record at 16. And that's what people are going to remember the most.
It's true.
So in some ways, let the win go to PTA, but he's got the 16. And I'll be honest, I don't think that's getting topped in our lifetimes. So.
And even cooler than that, he's got ownership of his film before too long. And that's the real flex.
Yep.
He's a genius.
Yeah, I mean, that's there. Can I throw out a moment of trepidation about this award show? This best casting category, I think we brought it up once. Are they setting this thing up to be a consolation prize? Is this going to be like the
box office achievement?
Yeah.
That there's the pessimistic part of my brain is like, oh, but you won best casting. And I'm worried that that's why they've created it. And I don't want to feel that way, but until I'm proven otherwise. Ooh.
Yeah, I think we'll see. It's funny you bring up that category. We'll see with the winner, because there's one film with child actors that's very impressive, and then two films like the Secret Agent casts a lot of actors, but a lot of like regular people, first time people. And then Supreme, we got Kevin O'Leary, we got Tyler the Creator, very unconventional picks. So you're right. We'll see what they do. If they end up going with One Battle or Sinners, no disrespect to the category, but it feels like, well, the other three, you could argue from a casting director's eye, those three are more impressive. So we'll see if it might be a consolation. But I hadn't thought about it until you just brought that up, though.
Secret Agent has the biggest cast.
It's got the biggest.
Absolutely. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they do with it. I don't want to judge before it's been played out. I don't want to, I told you so, but maybe I do want to.
Yeah. Andrew, Nikko, other Zach takes.
Oh man, I don't know if I want to follow the Coogler approach with the PTA debate, but I'll go for it.
It's tough. Yeah.
So let me say that I was not one of those people when One Battle After Another came out that immediately jumped the gun and said, this is the best film. I was actually like, let me stop and pump the brakes on it. And I took a lot of flack online actually for it, because I was like, I don't know if this is going to be the one. And I even said at the time, I was like, this might be PTA's Scorsese Departed win, where it's like, we know he should already have multiple probably at this point in time. However, I have since come around a little bit more, and I think this is in the conversation for PTA's best work, right up alongside There Will Be Blood and right alongside Boogie Nights and Phantom Thread and The Master. Like, all of his stuff is elite, top tier stuff. Just the Carr Hills scene alone is something so creative that's never been done on film before. His directorial eye is genius level, and it's hard for me to argue him winning this category. He's my one. Coogler's my 1A. I don't care who wins. I flipped a coin. I think PTA, this would just be the final piece in his arsenal to say I'm one of the all-time great directors that's ever lived, just having that on the mantle. And so I say, let him have it.
Love it. I really think you can't go wrong in this category at all. It's a really strong category. I do want to quickly say a snub, because I think the category could have been stronger. I think that Jafar Panahi should be here, and he should be winning. I think it was just an accident. It's the best directed film of the year. And with everything that went into the making of the movie is so important. And I'm really shocked it didn't keep happening. Like, he didn't keep showing up everywhere. I'm really surprised at that. I thought the Academy would bring it back. They just, gave a win to No Other Land last year. But so Jafar Panahi is my number one. So in this category, I went with my number two, which it's a great category. But I have Joachim Trier because, so I love direction, as do you all too, as do people watching this. What's happening in Sentimental Value, I see a director in full control. in perfect control of every ounce of this movie. The characters, an underrated part of direction, are the direction of the performances. I know One Battle has 4 people nominated, but there's just 4 people in sentimental value, and they all ended up getting nominated. The way he frames, the way the stage blocking, the way he puts these characters in spaces. There's such a consistent rhythm in this movie. Every ounce of this movie, the visuals, the score, the dialogue, the characters, the performances, they're all moving at this beautiful pace. And why it stands out to me so much, and this is probably going to be crazy to say, but I really believe it. I think you could take dialogue and speaking out of this film and just watch it in visuals and you get the whole story. And I don't think I could say that for the other 4 films in this category. And that's not a knock to them, but on rewatch, I am blown away at what Trier did with this movie. It really is a masterclass in direction. And I feel like I really want to celebrate that. So that's why I picked him here. And I know it's probably going to go to PTA or Kugler, who are so deserving. They're an example of like higher risk and higher reward comes with what they're doing in terms of scale and what they're talking about. But Trier is just like, they're all walking in this perfect straight line. And it's awesome direction. He's great.
Well said, my friend.
So good. That's a fascinating way to think about the film too, is to strip the dialogue and how much the performances, the cinematography, the score is able to tell that emotional story in with just as much depth. So that's neat. I went with Marty Supreme, with Josh Safdie.
So cool.
Huge fan of this film. I think that one of the things that I think about from a directing perspective is the creative choices around all of the aspects of filmmaking. So his ability to straddle and cast folks within our societal zeitgeist that are maybe not naturally from the film world, bringing Tyler, the creator, in, other figures that are representative of corporations and whatnot to be in this film feels like this really fascinating, like layered, subtle nod to one, bring in a more diverse audience, drive attention towards the film that might from audiences that might not normally care. So what that does for movie going, I think is really exciting. But 2, there's this like meta layer to Marty Supreme that I think is kind of on a closer glance, like far more deep and fascinating commentary on the state of society at the time that isn't as obvious as some of the other pieces that we got that are looking to show the corporate corruption, the systems of power in society, and how it's run, and how the little guys are often trying their best but suppressed by the powers that be. And so it's an incredibly fun dynamic. The sound design is incredible. The score is working together. The cinematography is incredible, but just what he's doing in almost like stealth mode, I think is really fascinating from a marketing perspective, but also for what the film is looking to ultimately say. It's a little bit coded, but I think there's so much there that's really exciting to me. So fascinating to see what he does next. But Marty Supreme, a layered piece that there's more than meets the eye, which is really fun.
And those tables.
I don't know if you guys know this. Nikko met Josh Safdie.
I did.
And he was dubbed and bestowed upon with
Fake
a nickname of
Fake Timmy is what he called him.
Fake Timmy for you all.
There it is. There it is.
The fact that is within arm's reach as well is kind of also iconic.
It's wild. It's wild. He was very cool. He told us about the Adam. He told us about the why, like what he did to help Timmy wear glasses. Also the level of commitment. So Timmy has 20/20 vision, but they gave him negative 6.25 contacts to blur his vision. So he needed the 6.25 glasses. And I'm like, that's something a director would think that I would never think about. I would just be like, hey, Timmy, can you just like wear these glasses and pretend like you need glasses? But no, he went the extra mile. So Jen, you said a great point, like the stealth, like something he did that we didn't really know that we would only know if he told us. So cool pick. I love it.
All right. We were quite a spread for that category, much more than I expected. Wow. So yeah, awesome. It was shocking. This is like this episode is like it was just an accident. We've been building towards this moment where you don't know what's going to happen next in the last 20 minutes. So Best Picture, I'm about to list off so many names of films that we've been talking about for months now. So get ready. Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams.
Nikko is
Godspeed.
writing
Good luck
one
to
letter
you.
followed by one number. No, that can't be the
Nikko,
case.
I
He's
believed
he's
better.
still writing.
Better of you.
Well, unless
Didn't think
it's
that you were that
one
kind of
letter,
movie
one
watcher.
number, colon, the movie.
Could be. Could be.
Can I just tell you something about it? And this is not, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. The critical print community was forced every time we wrote F1 or F1 the movie within our review to include the trademarked circle R. As if anyone was going to confuse the difference between this movie and the F1 product that people wake up at 5 a.m. to watch, people turn left in Monaco or whatever. Like, can we
the key on the keyboard?
Can we please get over ourselves? I understand it's international.
I didn't know that.
Not only was I so overwhelmingly turned off by this movie, to quote our very good friend Adam Patla, that is not my culture. Oh my God, this movie. And then for them to have the gall to say, but you better use the trademark Circle R in anything that you publish. Otherwise, we have legal ramifications waiting for you.
Wild.
Get lost. I saw 50 movies this year better than F1. Come at me, internet. Now I've said it. Now I'm ready for it.
Somebody clip that, please. I'm going to tweet that out because that's my review of the movie. That was epic. So it's safe to say that
I just
F1
imagine
is not
the
your best
keyboard
picture
warriors of like all of the male leaning audience for this movie.
The people wearing the VR headsets right now, driving on their couch. Like, no, look, no offense. Do what makes you happy. That is not a good movie.
If it makes you feel better, Adam, I love watching F1 at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I did not enjoy the movie.
Thank you.
I thought I was being hard on Blue Moon, but gosh darn, Adam, I love it. Go off.
I had to say it. I had
my
to say it
EIC right there.
It's the last time I will mention that movie ever.
Dude,
no
this
joke.
Is epic.
12 of the 15 short films nominated this year are better than F1. 12 of the 15.
Yes.
This movie. And really, it was the Circle R that pissed me off. And pardon my language, but I will never get over just how pretentious that was.
That is
and look, I have an iPhone, and they're probably going to shut it down once this thing publishes. I'll be an Android guy from now on. They're going to make unbelievable, that movie.
Y'all, I don't know. This episode might be more cathartic for Adam than Hamlet's was.
He's letting out these demons.
Yeah,
I've held that for 8 months. This is my last chance to get it off. But this is like my couch. I'm like speaking to my therapist.
This is a safe.
I'll raise you one
for authentic feelings. Yeah.
Did you just say you haven't seen it?
Whoa! Haven't seen it.
Good for you. Don't ever change.
It's probably all right. But
it's Top Gun Maverick and Cars.
Yeah, and you go something
Maverick
about
was an incredible cinematic experience.
Yeah, I actually love that movie.
So do I.
It's great.
When you go, your heart that loves like Sorry Baby, Sentimental Value. Like, this might not hit.
No, I'm telling you, if it was just an accident instead of F1 is there, this is like the coolest Best Picture lineup maybe in history. Like, and it's like. That's why I said like they could have done it was right there.
Or 49 other movies. But yeah,
I would have been the choice. Because I still liked Blue Moon. I would have put Blue Moon in there in a heartbeat before F1.
Without question.
And Lee, Hedda, I mean, come on, there's so many movies. No other choice, please.
Oh my God.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yes.
And I mean that. Which is in the Criterion collection. And Film Twitter was so mad about it. I love it. I can't wait to pre-order that. I can't wait to put it on the screen and say Film Twitter cry. Film Twitter cry. That movie is an achievement in film and saving the universe with K-pop and love. Gonna be. This is what it sounds like. There is a Hot Wings episode of the 6 voice actors and the 6 singers, and it is wonderful. Great 15 minutes if you need to kill 15 minutes.
You know what is
I don't know
hotter
why
than
I
hot
put
wings?
that in there, but can we keep
Adam's
it in the episode,
feelings.
No cuts.
Yeah, don't
the
cut
hottest
that,
of
please.
the hot wings. It's the end. Oh, I love Spicy Adam. That was great. I didn't know they needed that.
I don't get spicy often,
awesome.
but it was my only chance to do a drive-by on that movie, pun intended.
Yes.
And it needed to happen. I've said my piece. I can now move into 2026. I have exorcised the demons.
Yes, the new year has begun. You are reborn.
I
rebirthed.
never get angry.
I've never seen this.
Yeah,
I've never
I've never
Movies
seen
make
you
me
that fired
so
up.
I mean,
happy.
yeah.
This is my happy place. That whole experience made me so frustrated, and it shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't.
Adam, we're going to do a video where I just name a film and you have to tell me if it's worse than F1. And I think we can go for like
It's
2
a hard
hours.
game.
I think we could go for like hours. And I'm going to use some ones that are not well enjoyed by the consensus. And I think we could keep going here.
I mean, you can go Marvel on this thing. Thunderbolt's better than F1.
We're gonna review F1 soon. I'm like, dang, we could get Adam just monologue for an hour.
I think you need Adam on the
love
show.
that. My life.
You need Adam on the show.
Yeah.
Perfect chance to
Oh,
watch
you
the
don't
movie,
need that
Nico.
energy. No, thank you. No, I'm busy that night.
The funniest thing though to happen right now though is if he wrote it down. Like that would be the best
Yo.
payoff to this bid is if he's like, and all that being
Zag.
said, I
Up
think
the
it should win
trademark.
Best Picture. All that being said, I think it was a cultural phenomenon and it should win Best Picture.
This whole thing was a setup,
be
and
the
I pulled
great
a John Lovitz acting.
He
Yeah.
did a zag, then he did a zig back in the other direction.
It was Zag Zig.
The zag zig.
Mhm.
Ah,
I also didn't know
Heard it
what
here
zag
first.
takes were
Heard it here first.
till you, and I think it's such a great term. I'm going to keep using it. I never knew what that was. Zag
Oh.
takes. I love it. I love it. The first time you said it, I'm like, does that mean good or is she cooking me? I don't know. I don't know what
Nico,
that
you're a
means, but
walking
now I'm
set
saying,
of zag takes. I have to say.
I hope that's a positive thing.
It is. It is.
Okay, cool.
It is very good. Highest compliment. All right. Well, now that we've gotten that off our chest,
I let all the air out of the balloon. Let's go.
let it,
I don't know if there's any
celebrate.
energy left.
No. We're gonna celebrate great cinema now. You know, and yes. Okay, Best Picture. Everyone's got theirs down. This is the finale. This is the thing that we've been waiting for. This is the big category of them all. 1 out of 5. You can only pick one, and your pick is 3, 2, 1.
Hamnet.
Sinner.
Oh my
What?
God. I'm
This
the
is
only
shocking.
one, huh? I'm the only one, huh? For Hamnet.
Now
Wow.
that Nico is called a zag take.
That's I guess I
That's-
set myself up for the zag take.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nico, I'm proud of you, though. I love
Wow.
this movie so much.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
Yeah.
Wow, and now I gotta defend it. Guys, this is between your Ryan Coogler for Sinners, between now being the one to ruin the perfect moment. Not feeling great. No, I just can't. I'm an emotional viewer. I say that a lot. I've actually said that in probably too many videos. I gotta stop.
That's good.
It's the only movie this year. Because even though Sorry Baby is my number one of the year, it's not here. Sorry Baby should be winning Best Picture. That's the other snub in this category. I mean, just for me, like I would vote Sorry Baby if it was here. I would have written it in. But there's not another film this year that I could say healed me and helped me, like the power of art to really help me move in a different direction with my greatest fear. And I'm still working, like I'm still moving on there, but like death is something that still really freaks me out. But this movie really, really helped. And I'm going to be straight up with you, Adam, seeing you walking out in the parking garage at New City with tears staring in your eyes. And I just wanted to hug you. And when we did the Hamnet episode with you three, like it was just so special. And it just kept reaffirming that there's something about this movie that I think it's Best Picture because, this world's really scary right now. And the optimism at the end of that movie just brings me to a different place. And I almost picked Chloe Zhao for director too, because I think what she does with that movie is so powerful, and I love everything that she's about. So I just love Hamnet. I think it's Chloe Zhao's masterpiece, and she's already an Academy Award winner. So I'm like, yeah, she made a better, in my opinion, a better movie than one that won Best Picture already. So, another moment to just say, like, coming from the heart, right? I couldn't put anything else when I liked it. Was the first one I filled out. It was the first thing I put in. I'm like, Hamnet's got to be Best Picture for me. I can't go any other way. I feel like I would be lying to Nikko's inner heart, and which Chloe put back together. So the fact that I even have it still, I have to credit to her. So,
and for people who love Hamnet or people who are just curious about Nikko's pick, I got to recommend you go back in the Movies and Us feed and listen to the Hamnet episode. And I'm not saying that because, it's just because it's us on it, but I really do. I feel like we bonded in a way that we hadn't previously on that episode. And I feel like in that episode, we had open hearts that I think sometimes when you talk about movies, it just doesn't always lend itself to that in conversation. And that speaks even more highly to what Chloe Zhao accomplished and what the film accomplished. And I think Nikko just said it very eloquently. It's special. And it's, for me, it's one of those. In any other years, it's in my top 3, but it might end up being in my top 10 of the decade when this thing's said and done. So I'm glad you picked that, Nikko.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you picked it, Nikko. One, it's less interesting if we all pick Sinners. Okay. Second, you stuck to your guns, you stuck to your heart, and you followed your heart. And as you said, your heart is always right. Third, this is the reason why we aren't doing an Oscar predictions episode. There's plenty of people out there that are doing the analyses and like the predictions and all that stuff. But the power of movies is what you just did, which is this movie changed me. It healed me. It transformed me. I'm a different person after the movie ended. Kind of like what Andrew's saying, like the movie actually begins when you leave the theater and you let it just heal you in ways that you didn't even know you needed. And that is the power of this medium that we love and celebrate. And that is why your pick is actually, I think, one of the most meaningful this whole slate. It's just that, this is the one that hit close to home for you and you stuck to it. I love it. I love it so much.
Now tell me why I'm wrong, you 4. Go. Right now. Tell me why I'm wrong. No, I want you to. I want you to as passionately as you ripped F1.
Did for everything.
Please, I can take it.
I'm going to do this, but I'm going to speed run because I love everything you said about Hamnet. I have been a huge proponent. I've been banging the drum for as long as I've been doing this, that original stories matter, right? We cannot prequel and sequel people to death. We have to have something original. As much as I loved a lot of the movies this year, I think Sinners was the most original thing that I experienced. In addition to original stories mattering, representation matters.
Yes.
Putting people on screen that represent all of our country and beyond matters. Remembering our history as it actually occurred, not in a new form of narrative that people may want to amend recently. Remembering our mistakes matters. And it's also a vampire story. So having fun matters. Representing the horror community matters. Genre matters. Having fun matters. Eating popcorn matters. Sinners matters and will 100 years from now. I'm done.
Yes, plus 1,000. That a lot of that is actually the same reason I picked Sinners. What you said at the end there, which is this movie gave me hope and is evidence that a film that is entertaining, that is artistic, that is technically executed in an incredible way, that has something incredibly meaningful to say to change people's perspectives about how they view the world, that can also be fun and make money. That gives me hope for art everywhere. I think there's often this challenge of making the creative thing, but are people ready for it? Do they want it? And this movie is yes, they want it. They can engage with it. They'll show up for it in droves. And the way that Ryan Coogler's played his hand the right way in the industry and played the long game, proven his craft, built relationships, both in the film world and the music world and so many other mediums, I just think is so inspiring. And the way that people from this community have felt so seen by Sinners, and the way that people that are not from this community have engaged and understood more about our history in a deeper way because of Sinners is life-changing for our society, for all of us. So Sinners gave me hope for films and art. Sarah, Andrew, Sinners pick?
You two have said basically everything, other than it's rare that the Oscars has the opportunity in the moment to actually capture something that is both a financial success and a cultural piece of art. And they missed the opportunity in 2017 with Get Out. And they have that chance right now to capture something where everyone knows that this is the movie that's shifting the industry. As much as I enjoy One Battle After Another and all the other films, Sinners has fundamentally changed the industry for the better. This is their chance to reward it for its greatness.
So good.
Yep, I agree with everything that has been said about Sinners. The thing that I will add is just the reiterating the excellence at every level. And I think for me, what is really special about Sinners, and you touched on it a little bit, Adam, is the history and the real life stories. And there are people that are writing curriculum to go deep into Sinners and using this as a teaching tool. And it just shows how rich and deep this story is. There's so much to it on a story level. And then the technical execution is flawless, acting across every level. It's just phenomenal. So Sinners was my favorite movie of 2025. And so I had to give it Best Picture.
Art that is worthy of exploration in an educational sense is rare. It's rare. And you just hit the nail on the head. And that's exactly what we have. And shout out to Chicago. Post-credit sequence, right? Yeah. We show up, Nikko.
We're here. We're here.
Yeah, we showed up. I love it.
If it wins, it will be one of the coolest and greatest Best Picture winners ever. So like I'm rooting for it. I just wouldn't vote for it, but I'm rooting for it. And I'll be honest, you're gonna have a pretty good idea after this weekend. We got PGA and SAG. So if it wins PGA and wins SAG Ensemble, which I think it could, I think it might happen. We'll see.
Follow Nikko Caruso. Nikko Knows Film.
Thank you. I will
YouTube,
be.
Nikko Knows Film on social media.
That's so
Podcast
kind.
Network. All of your awards coverage. Nikko's got you covered.
Kind. Yes. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot of SAG and PGA stuff coming this weekend.
There's nothing better than a YouTube Nikko drop.
Love it.
Hey, I try. Thank you, guys. It's so kind. That's such a great. I mean, my gosh, I love you guys. That's awesome. Very kind. But yeah, shout out to Sinners, and not F1.
Wow, you were just a little hard on F1, Nikko.
Just way too hard.
Yeah, that was some spice. I felt that heat. Man, it was emanating through the screen. Closing thoughts. Thoughts on our picks this year of Oscars, and then we'll end with just things coming down the pipe real soon. Fun things from the Movie Archer fam, but kind of closing thoughts from each of us.
Loved 2025 in film, as I think people could tell. Loved so many of these films, even the imperfect ones. I loved, and I think most of those were represented here at the Oscars. And the only thing that I love more than the 2025 films is getting to do this with all of you. I feel like this, I'll always remember this being the year that we started something new. We all took a risk. We kind of just like held our nose and jumped in. And I'm so proud of where things have gone and how quickly they've gone. And so, love and respect to all of you.
So good. Any other last thoughts?
As you can tell, I'm the only person, I think, of the five of us who did not pick Hamnet anywhere. Clearly, I have no heart, and I have accepted that.
Andrew, I also have no heart. The only reason why I picked Hamnet is because of the girls. I needed to award a female writer. Otherwise, Hamnet wasn't going to get anything because I am also cold and heartless. So
I thought we were in it together, Sarah, but I respect the pick sticking with the women. You got to.
Just like you betrayed me.
That's awesome. I'm just honored to be with you all. The Hamnet show is a bonding experience. Andrew, we've talked. We got the revision almanac next week. But I think the coolest part of today was I learned so much about you four in the best way. Things you look for, things you appreciate, things you want to celebrate. And everything you've been doing this whole season with the interviews. I mean, it's been so cool. I mean, you got the large part of this. I'm just a small part of this. And to get to share the screen with you all, two of the best three, if you count our first one. These are three of the best podcasts I've ever done. It's with you, it's with you wonderful, special, beautiful people. So I'm just lucky to be here. I'm just happy to be here. And we got to do this more often because there's magic when we're on the mic. Not magic mic, but there's magic when we are on the mic together.
But we haven't done a deep dive on that series either. I mean, it's there for us.
Which could happen. Although I've never seen the third one. The third one was bad, right? With some high. Because like McConaughey's pretty good in the first one, which we'll talk about, Andrew, next week.
Better than
we'll talk about Magic Mike next week.
Might come up once or twice.
Brother. It might come up. So.
Oh, so good. Oh man, this was so fun, y'all. We love talking movies. We love talking the Oscars. It's an exciting time for all of us, but I think what's more exciting is getting to do it together. This group is so special. This Movie Archer family is truly so rare. I think what you don't see on screen is just how crazy our group chat is and how supportive and warm and genuinely like celebrating each other, rooting for each other. It's so genuine and heartfelt, the connection here. So it's a special, and that leads me into the fact that you will get more of us very soon here. Andrew, do you want to talk a little about Movie Archer Oscar ballots?
Sure, yeah. So this episode will be going up the week prior to the Oscars on March 15th. And then leading up from this episode dropping to the Oscars, I'll be doing on the Rev Almanac pages all of our Oscar ballots. So it's the big project I've done the last 2 years. I stripped it down to just the Movie Archer team, 11 of us I think we have in total. And so we will be revealing all of our picks for what should be winning in these categories we've talked about here, as well as a couple others. And then we will be reconvening the night after the Oscars collectively to unpack what has happened, and that episode will drop on Tuesday, March 17th. So I'll turn that one around really quickly. We will talk about surprises, shocking moments, favorite wins, best speeches, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of stuff still coming from us. And I have literally just found out in the last couple hours, I'm apparently going to be hosting some sort of live Oscar special here in St. Louis. And that's a whole other thing.
Cool,
so
well deserved, brother.
And Andrew, you don't get invites like that without putting in the tremendous amount of work that you've been putting in. And from the minute these opportunities started coming along, you've grabbed them and run, right? And the number of Oscar nominees that you've now interviewed, it's a testament to the work that Jen, Sarah, and Andrew that you've really put in. So I'm so happy for you. I'm excited for these opportunities. Look, we're just getting started.
Yes.
My goal is I'm going to try to steal Conan's monologue before Sunday so I can do it live in the theater and try to cut him off. But
I love it. I love it.
So good. Oh man, this group is so special. We'll include places you can find all of us Nikkos on YouTube and TikTok and all the social platforms. Adam's got a whole crew of folks on the moviearcher.com that are doing writing. He's on a ton of guest spots on pods, Revisionist Almanac with Andrew. There's just so much goodness happening. So if you want more of all of that, we're going to include that in the show notes. But in the meantime, this is our heart picks, and we will see what actual picks happen, and we will react to them. So that Oscar special episode is going to come out soon. The gang's going to get back together real soon here on the feed. So with that, Movie Archer fam out. Thanks y'all for listening.